The 10th episode of Andor, titled One Way Out, is, well, out. And wow, is this a dope episode. Here we finally get the escape that we've been building up to. But getting out of prison is a group effort. Who makes it and who doesn't? And what's Kino's big secret? If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on all new reviews I put out here weekly at Off the Cover. And without further ado, on to the video. At the end of the last episode, Kino Loy revealed there are only ever 12 guards on duty, and in this episode, Cassian plans to take full advantage of the Empire's weakness. But even after learning that no one is getting out, Kino is still hesitant about going against the Empire, totally convinced that they have the power in the situation. Cassian tells him otherwise, noting that officers struggle with covering shifts and maintaining control, and he even notes their fear when he says, "Power doesn't panic." What a powerful quote right there. It had me absolutely cheering. Kino is pushed into a crisis of faith when Cassian insists that the tide is going to change for them. He's still desperately clinging to the idea that he might actually finish his sentence and be let off Narkina 5. He's been a model prisoner who's kept his head down, followed the rules, and been a capable leader of the prisoners in his wing. But Cassian finally convinces him otherwise when he tells Kino that he'd rather die trying to take down the Empire than give them what they want. At first, none of the other prisoners believe Cassian what transpired on the other floor. It's not until Kino awakes the next day that he tells everyone they're going to break out. Otherwise, they'll never get out. This episode doesn't lose sight of the other plots unfolding across the galaxy either. It seamlessly weaves together the story. At the Imperial Security Bureau, Dedra, who we covered in the last review, is celebrating their successful mission after Krieger's men fell for the trap they set with the pilot. But not everyone is in a cheery mood. Lonnie Jung cautions the rest of the officers that they don't want to raise suspicions with Krieger, so they'll have to take an interest in the pilot's death. I didn't catch it until later in the episode, but Lonnie is not all he seems to be in this scene. Meanwhile, back on Ferrix, a group of locals and Dr. Malmoy talk amongst themselves about the fact that Marva isn't taking her medicine because it's putting her off her food. This scene brilliantly shows that not only is Cinta keeping an eye on Marva, but also Korv has been left behind to watch what's happening around Cassian's home. It seems like the show may be setting up some trouble for Cinta in the next episode or two, forcing her to choose sides. Back on Coruscant, Mon Mothma meets with very shady and conniving Davos Sculdun in order to funnel their money under the Empire's radar. The three of them carefully dance around each other very wearily, with a lot of doublespeak that's easy to miss. At the end, when Mon Mothma seemingly gets what she wants, Davo hits her with his request, and it's a hard pill for her to swallow. He wants to set up his son with her daughter. I would hope that it's a bridge too far for Mon Mothma, but you can see the hesitation in her eyes in this brilliantly acted scene. Bravo, Genevieve O'Reilly, bravo! Back on Narkina 5, the next day arrives, and Kino gives the prisoners in his unit a rallying speech about how they're done counting shifts. His attitude has completely shifted now that reality hit him over the face with a 2x4. Everybody's gangsta till you get a life sentence in prison. Kino tells them that he no longer cares about living or dying because he's assuming he's already dead. This is a theme that seems to have carried on throughout the series, especially with Cassian. From this point forward, Cassian lives like he knows he's going to die. And having seen Rogue One, we know he's going to give everything to ensure the Empire doesn't win. Narkina 5 is the spark that will light the fire. Like we've seen in the prior episode, Cassian takes off to the side room during his break and resumes sawing away at the pipe in the wall, revealing water that begins to flow into the room. This comes in handy because when the guards activate the floor, the water short-circuits everything and they're able to take over. With the floor shut off, the prisoners are able to make a break for their escape. Kino and Cassian head up to where the command center is and take control of basically the entire facility. This is where Cassian tells Kino to step up and tell every other prisoner the cold hard truth. They're never getting out unless they make a break for it right now. Reluctantly, Kino gets on the mic and gives a rising speech to the other prisoners, which sparks a mass exodus. What's pretty awesome is that he tells them that he'd rather die trying to take them down than give them what they want. Pretty much the same thing Luthen told Cassian ahead of the Aldhani raid. All it takes is one spark. And speaking of Luthen, we see him as the mastermind behind Lonnie and the ISB. While the escape on Narkina 5 was pretty dope, Luthen's speech on the Dark Sky Bridge was phenomenal. Lonnie is scared of being a spy within the Empire given that he has a family and a new child, and he asks Luthen what he's given up. Here we see how broken Luthen truly is, and that he is willing to give up the very essence of his soul for the rebellion. This was the first time we got some insight into exactly what kind of man Luthen really is, and all I've got to say is, give us more of this. Wow! Back on Narkina 5, we see the climactic end of the prison break. The saddest part was when Kino told Cassian he couldn't swim, and before Cassian could even respond, he was in the water. While we don't see what happened with Kino at the end of the prison break, I'm sure many theories will arise. Primarily, does Kino turn into Snoke? I mean, he is played by the same actor. Personally, I'd love for this to be the case because I, along with many others, were grossly disappointed with the way Disney handled Snoke. We never got any background or anything, and then a very anticlimactic death. Maybe this is their first attempt to fix the awful new trilogy? Overall, this episode is one of the most powerful in the entire season. I'm honestly pleasantly surprised. Not only do we see a daring prison break, but we also get insight into Luthen as a man. He burns his life to make a sunrise that he will never see, sacrificing everything for the rebellion. This seals all their fates, essentially. Once you're part of the rebellion, there is no stopping. In order to be the spark for someone else's flame, some part of you has to burn. The story arc on Narkina 5 delivers some truly awe-inspiring concepts, themes, and performances. Andy Serkis, Stellan Skarsgård, and Forrest Whitaker were powerhouses in these episodes, delivering performances well-suited for the big screen. And as for Cassian, his fate is sealed. He will no longer be able to sit on the sidelines and watch the Empire go on. He's going to have to take action and fight back with real purpose. I can't wait how this season ends. Bravo! If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more great content.